Welcome back, everybody. Talmin Legends, session 11, the end of our Mystery at Moon Harbor adventure. Today we're joined by everybody but Hal. He got knocked down in the last game, and we just hope and pray that he's okay, recovering from getting mollywopped wherever he's at. In the last session, there was a lot that happened, so I'll briefly go over it. It started with you guys entering or coming across, or I guess, what is it? Arriving back at the Jungle Temple and meeting Valletta. You guys placed the Heart of the Jungle on the pedestal, and doors appeared, and you went on in. As you guys went in, the doors closed behind you, locking you inside the temple. You guys traversed the temple and found some rather peculiar notes. And what you guys found out were written by the Velvet Church, who seem to have helped summon whatever beings were within the temple. And the note was signed a name that evades me, but it's this father of Valen that he learned. After you guys find the notes and solve the puzzle where you just stabbed the eyes and you guys poked them out and the door opened. And when we went in, we found two beings, one being an Oculum Infernum, and the other being a person called the Harbinger. After defeating the Oculum, it fell, and its dormant power was absorbed by just the room and the contraption surrounding the Harbinger, which released him. After a pretty dramatic conflict with him, the last thing you guys saw was him using his power to try to regain control as the room was swirling and his magic was spiraling out of control. Then you guys saw a flash of red and then a flash of black as you guys passed out or went unconscious or something. So yeah, I think I got everything. But with that, that leaves us here at the finale. So super dramatic. And I'm excited to get into it. So with that, let me go ahead and unpause the game. Let me get the... Oh, there it is. We'll get the clock rolling and we'll get into it, okay? All right. Let's see how the fuck this goes, huh? All right. From the void, your senses begin to return slowly. Darkness surrounds you as a scent of smoke invades your nostrils. You feel a sudden gust of wind and the sensation of being pulled forward, and suddenly you are snapped back into consciousness. Blurred and unsteady, your vision swims, and a high-pitched ringing assaults your ears. Disoriented, you look around and find yourself sprawled across the cold, hard cobblestone of a deserted street. As you stagger to your feet, as you stagger to your feet, clutching your injuries from the previous battle, the scene around you begins to snap into focus. Thick clouds, thick smoke clouds in the air swirl around, shattering, shattered buildings and flames licking what remains of their structures. Directly in front of you, a deep red stream of blood snakes down the street, guiding your gaze towards an opening in the distance. A platoon of Etherean soldiers dragging bodies onto a gruesome pyre. Heart pounding, your gaze is then diverted to a nearby flag post. At its base lies the flag of the Arcadian consulate, and perched atop is the Empire's banner, fluttering ominously in the smoke-filled breeze. With a surge of sudden survival instinct, you scan your surroundings and hastily seek refuge in the shattered remains of a nearby building. That is one thing I forgot in the outro. As you guys were going unconscious, you saw flashes and snippets of like battles and crazy shit going down. So that's important too. And then this is the last piece before I'll turn it loose to you. As you step through the shattered remains of the stone house, the residual warmth from a still smoldering fireplace brushes against your skin. The interior is a grim scene of destruction as blood is splatter across the walls, and the aftermath of fierce conflict is unmistakably present. Scanning the room, your eyes catch familiar detail amidst the chaos. Sandstone tiles and remnants of the jungle plants mixed with artifacts from the jungle temple, all scattered around the debris. Um, these are remnants of the battle that led you to your blackout, triggering fragmented memories. All those like memories start coming back. In the far corner of the room, obscured by dust and the faint smoke still hanging in the air, a subtle red glow catches your attention. You notice a scroll partially buried under the rubble. Its glow pulses gently, and the air around you tingles with latent energy emanating from the mysterious artifact. Oh, man. All right. Once your guys' screens finally load, this should be the new format that kind of I'm talking about. But with all that information, you guys rush into the house, and this is where I turn it over to you. Oh, Hal's not here. He's somewhere else. Don't worry about that guy.
You said it's a scroll?
It is a scroll. Yep. Certain things on the map, same as before, I'll drop if they're like key important items for you guys to find. Obviously, there's not any sort of like chests anymore that I'm making or like furniture. So if you guys want, you can just inquisitively ask like, "What's around the room?" and then we'll just, you know, do
Go
that
from
whole
there.
thing. Yep.
Okay. If no one minds, I'm going to try to grab the smoldering scroll since it's paper and try to figure out what this is about. Oh, is it in my inventory?
It should be.
Let me find my inventory. Romance novels, monster blood. um, Holding on to interesting stuff here. I can't find it. I can't find it quickly, at least.
It should be under tools, I guess. I made it as a tool.
Haha. Got it. Prophecy of the Golden Sun. Oh, it's written in Ancient Elvish. Can I read this? I don't think I can. Valen, Jinshi, is this something you guys can read?
Probably, I guess. I take the parchment from your hands and I start reading.
It's a lot. Did you guys?
Oh, go ahead, please.
No, I was just like, it was a lot. If you guys wanted me to read it, I could.
Oh no, I am only worried about my accent, but yeah.
Well, you can go for it.
Go ahead, then, Tara. You had to scroll first.
Just kidding. I was still dizzy. I got this. Yeah, Chris said it was upside down. I, the awakening, in the realm of Talmin unto the silent grove, shall Draftalok, the Harbinger, descend, there to slumber in the earth's cold embrace. A deep slumber shall enfold the land, feeding the dormant seed with its vibrant essence. At the zenith of this cursed repose, with power drawn from the land's own breath, the Harbinger shall awaken. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't I. That was one. One, the awakening. Two, the holy war. I get it now. Anointed as prophet, the harbinger shall rise amidst the elven kin, under the blazing herald of the golden sun, which shall sweep through the elven lands like a devouring flame. Guided by visions, he shall lead the elves in a sacred quest to reclaim the four lost artifacts of Baldrath. 3. The arrival. Gathered in unity, the four artifacts shall forge the key, unlocking the shadowed portal to the dark realms. Thence shall the legions of Baldroth surge forth as a tide of shadows to drown the world, and so shall Talmin be transformed, a new domain of the Dark Realm, bound eternally to the will of the Dark One. Yikes.
Wow, a very colorful manner of speech, I could say.
This was a prophecy. which seems
Yeah,
to be B.
yeah, and it seems that the first part of the prophecy is fulfilled. So now there will be the Holy War, I guess.
Yeah. A harbinger shall rise, admits the elven kin.
Anointed as prophet. This sounds ominous, but he has first to find the four lost artifacts of Baldrath.
So do we know who Baldra is?
That, that's a good question. Tara, you who reads a lot, do you happen to know what Baldrath or who Baldrath is?
You can inquire by using either let's do like a history or a religion.
Can I help her? Since it's involved amidst the elven kind and that sort of thing.
Sure, you can give her advantage.
Go,
Okay. You
Tara.
said history or religion?
Yep.
Yep.
Uh, perfect. They're the exact same thing. History it is. With advantage, 18.
Oh, you do as you read the name Baldroth and you say it out loud. Your heart kind of sinks as you remember that Baldroth is kind of shrouded in mystery, more of like a folklore, but he, as you can remember, is the Demon King.
Oh. Oh. He's the Demon King.
He is what?
The
Demon
the
King.
the
The
Demon King.
demon.
I thought I almost thought it was just, myth, legend, scary boogeyman kind of story.
You could say that he is one of Talmin legend.
You could say that.
One of them for sure. As you guys are amidst your conversation, uh, a sudden sound, a scuffle from behind the shadows abruptly shifts your focus. You swiftly turn toward the noise, tension mounting as a figure begins to cautiously emerge from the darkness. A shaky voice cuts through the silence, laden with disbelief and hope. Is it is it really you? As a figure steps forward, crossing the line from the shadow into a beam of sunlight streaming through a hole in the roof, the light reveals a face that tugs at the edges of your memory. The features are vaguely familiar, stirring a mixed pot of emotions. And the figure is. She's standing across the room, staring at Valen, almost just in disbelief.
His gaze matches hers in return. Does she, at least based on the picture you provided, does she seem like the Alora I remember?
She is not. As you look at her, she's wearing like almost the clothes of a rogue. You notice that she has the eye patches and the cuts on her face. She's covered in like dirt and some blood. And you can tell the hair on her head is just like her whole facial features almost seem different, as if she's aged.
How are you here? What what's going on?
She just steps down, like crying, but almost without like breath, and just goes and hugs you. And she just cries out, "I didn't believe it. He was right." And then she like stops hugging you and just looks at you. She goes, "We have to get out of here. It is not safe."
Where is here? It's not where we were but moments ago.
She looks around and realizes that you're confused, and she goes, "There's a lot to explain. Um but I'll start with my notes from the top." She explains that she's been looking for you ever since your disappearance. She said about 10 years ago, you disappeared after you guys left her with the Santa's cap, and she hasn't seen you since. She says after you left, the sleep and seemed to end, and your mom woke up, but was very very sick from being so famished for so long, and died shortly afterwards. But she did tell Alora of a tracking spell that your parents installed in your family signets. Um, that you guys were unaware of. And she proceeds to tell you a story about how she lost a house because they didn't have money, and in desperation, she turned to a life of petty theft, but realized quickly she was good at it. She was then reunited or recruited to the Thieves Guild, ended up leaving Moon Harbor and went down south to Mistmorn to join the Thieves Guild and train. And it was there that she was approached by somebody that she didn't know but said he knew you. A man named Finor Noldrin, I'm pretty sure was his name. Your old professor, who told her that Valen was special and that somehow you were trapped. And he helped her use a signet to determine that it would be here at this particular moment when you would reappear. And she looks at you for a response.
Like he's kind of having a bit of a mental breakdown at the moment. He kind of like slumps down like onto his knees, just like compiling this with the information he just learned about his father. What felt like only moments ago. He's just in. He doesn't respond yet. He just kind of his eyes kind of leave Alora's, just kind of find and fixate on a place like off to the left, and just like he doesn't really know what to say. He's not doing too great, I think.
She realizes that this mountain of information that she spewed at you has just like completely just crippled you as you're on your knees. And she comes over gently and kind of kneels beside you and puts her hand on your shoulder. And she goes, "Look, I know you've been through a lot, and this is all very, very confusing." She's like, "But we are not safe here." She's like, "There's so much that has happened." She's like, "The Empire has just sacked Arcadia." And she looks up at Terra covered in like blood and whatnot. She goes, "You must have been one of the soldiers."
No, we've met before.
She kind of looks at you and squints. Then she realizes it. She's like, "Oh." And she looks around the room, and Valen's kind of with all the exact same people he was with. I'm pretty sure it was like the day or the day before his disappearance. And she's just equally as confused. And she looks at you guys and goes, "What happened?"
I could ask you the same thing. What happened?
She looks and she goes, "There's a lot that happened. You have to be more specific than that."
I mean, all this destruction.
She just takes a big sigh and she reveals that you guys are no longer in Valmartyr and that you are on the Isle of Arcadia. Matter of fact, you guys are in Arcadia City. And she explains to you that the Etherean Empire had launched their attack and attacked them last night, in the middle of the night, and completely decimated the city. And by morning, which is right about now, it's like late morning, it is like the aftermath of that.
There is no warning for this. No officials, diplomats, envoys, Costas Belli, nothing.
This makes no sense.
You said we're in Arcadia. We're in Arcadia City?
She says, "Yes, probably the worst place in Talmin to be at the moment, if you ask me."
Fuck. No. My family, my mom, my sister.
Do you have a sister?
One died
Oh,
a while
sorry.
ago.
I'm
The other one maybe also dead. I don't know.
wow.
I need to find my family.
She looks and she goes, "You don't understand how many of them are out there." She's like, "If your sister or your family did survive, then they're probably being pushed into one of those grouping places or facilities. I guess like a rehabilitation, re-citizenship kind of camp, not like a labor Nazi camp. You know what I mean? It's a little more ethical."
Then I have to get them out.
We have to get him out because I have a friend here that is probably in dark tides right now with all of this going on.
She looks at you guys, saying you have all this stuff that you need to take care of. And then she looks over at Valen and she goes, "Come on." She rushes over and kind of like grabs your shoulder and tries to pick you up. You can tell, like, as she looks at you and picks you up, you look in her eyes and she's it's the same look that you've had since you guys were kids, where she's always like looked up to you. You know what I mean?
Is this eyes plural?
Is her one good eye. Funny.
I think at this point he doesn't really say anything, but I think he comes to enough to realize that where they are, clearly Alora does not find to be the best spot to linger, so he'll kind of go along with wherever she's going to try to take him.
She just kind of looks back at the party and goes, "Look, I understand that you guys might have pre-existing things here," but she's like, "But it is not safe. If those people are alive, like I said, they'd be in the camps, and there's no way that the four of us can take on the entire might of the Empire." She's like, "Arcadia was a show of force. Their entire fleet landed on the shores. Thousands of ships, elven soldiers coming to reclaim their land. In the name of the Golden Sun," she says also.
In the name of what?
She kind of looks down at you guys and she's like, "Oh, that's right." She's like, "The elves, there's apparently some sort of new religion called what did I call it? The Golden Sun." Oh, the religion of the Golden Sun. She's like, "It's led by a man that they call the Harbinger, some prophet, although nobody's ever actually seen him. The Empire, in the void that there was with no religion, when this religion came and was completely sanctioned, it seemed to pop up and spread everywhere almost overnight." And she's like, "That's the reason why the elves are here." She's like, "Because of their golden prophecy, something about an elven golden age."
I mean, Arcadia is ours, true, but violence.
She just looks and she says, "I disconnected from all of the Empire's nonsense years ago. Ever since you guys have left, they've just become more crazy and spiritual and just evil in their ways."
Right. We can talk in a safe place. This is not a safe place. Let's get going.
As you guys say that, in the street, you hear like footsteps rush past you, and then clanks of armor rush past the door, and then just a woman scream, and just a bloody stab of a sword as like it just goes silent, and then you hear the clanking of the metal run off in the distance. Alora turns to you guys and she says, "Come on, we need to get out of here through the alleyway in the back of the house." She comes over and it's like all rubble. It's not really much of a door, it's just a hole. She kind of ends up climbing through.
Yeah, all three of you get through.
And
I'll
she
be
looks
right
back
behind you.
and is like, "I guess as long as nobody else has anything they want to do in this room."
Come on now, Tara. You next.
Check this out, guys. You guys see this transition, by the way, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. So you all quickly exit the ruined building, following Alora into the narrow, cluttered alleyway. Your footsteps are unsteady as you navigate over scattered chunks of stone, brick, and abandoned weaponry. The alley is eerily quiet, but the presence of the Etherean Empire soldiers patrolling the nearby streets is palpable. Peering through a gap between the buildings, you witness a distressing scene. Empire soldiers forcefully herding large groups of displaced civilians into nearby houses and locking them inside. Amidst the chaos, a woman's defiant screams cut through the air. "You will never take our home," and she spits at the feet of a soldier who coldly responds, "The Empire is your home now," before striking her down with a sword in the middle of the street. Distracted, Alora whispers, "Come on," as she continues to lead you down the alleyway. The presence of Empire soldiers begins to intensify, forcing your group to slow down. Your advance becomes a cautious crawl as you utilize the shadows of the dark alley for cover. Hold on. I might have, whoops. Yep. Y'all didn't see anything. Are we where I want to be right now? Yes, we are. Okay, so you guys, not Hal, whoops, are over here. And the soldiers are in these little places right here. All right, there we go. The wrong setup going on over here. All right, so how this works is you guys are sneaking through the alleyway. If you want to go from one side of an alley to the other side where the soldiers sit, you're gonna have to pass 2 stealth checks, similar to those kind of a death save. You know what I mean? You hit 2 and if you pass, you miss 2, you fail. She makes hers, shows you how it's done, and expertly comes over to the other side and kind of whispers you on.
Valen not wanting to leave too far, the gap between him and his sister. The next bit, so you say roll a stealth check.
Yes. Yep. There you go. So you've successfully crossed your first stealth check over here with your sister. All right. Well done, she says.
Felix will try going next ahead of them. 12.
12 hits. Yep, just like a death save. So you succeed and cross the path. Sneak across.
The slits of their armor and their helmets cover their vision a little too much.
I think Tara's kind of like zoned out, taking in the surroundings and the whole, her home and whatnot, and she's just like she just kind of is there, like she's not taking initiative to move herself.
Just
Tara,
stuck there
come
in
on.
shock.
More or less. But I think Jinshi's urging voices were overlapping.
My foundry is not working right now. Give me a minute. I will try to identify what is it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just can't connect.
Can I like whisper a guidance onto myself or like pep talk myself in my head for a guidance?
Yeah. Like look down and you're just like, come on. Get shit
No,
together.
you gotta go.
Well, considering that I have a -2 for stealth, can I instead play myself as an Italian soldier? Because, yeah, it's what I am actually.
I mean, I suppose that you could certainly try.
Right. Right. So, I will not try to stealth. I try to, go sneaky and that sort of thing. I like just walk plain like I was part of these soldiers conquering right now. And if we didn't have a rest, I am beaten out. So I'm probably carrying scars of or recent battle. And so yeah, I'll try like just I was here all the time. I'm just passing because I'm a soldier, just like you.
All right. So you guys are all over here in the alley waiting for Jinshi, and you guys are all like, "Come on, come on!" And he just proudly just walks out into the center. The Itherian soldier sees him and just goes, "Hey!" and immediately draws his sword and he goes, "Stop, you!" And he starts walking over, and he's yelling
I
at
show
you.
him. I show him my badge of 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 Lieutenant Jinchi.
So your generals, I forget what you have. What was
I
it?
have my
Oh, your insignia.
my insignia.
You show the insignia of the Golden Forces to the soldier, and he stops for a minute and looks at it, and kind of nods his head for a second, and then stops and looks back at you, and he says, "Wait a minute." He examines the insignia a little bit more. He just looks, and he's just like, "That thing there has been retired for almost 6 years now. Doesn't have the new logo." He looks at you,
Oh,
and he's like, "Explain yourself."
oh, I was on a special mission of, scout I had before our invasion. So I spent most of time here scouting, trying to blend in the shadows to make our glorious conquest easier.
He looks at you, And he goes, "You're gonna have to roll a persuasion check."
Because I have persuasion. Yeah,
All right.
18.
He looks at you, I guess, against his what?
Probably intelligence.
He says, "Yep, that checks out. Golden Forces always showing up at the end of battle." He says, "Hurry up, move along, and round up any
Yeah.
civilians that you see and bring them to the camp."
Yeah. Yeah, I will check for civilians right down this alley.
He just says,
And
it's impossible there's civilians down this alley."
well, you know how these Arcadian rats can be sneaky sometimes.
I couldn't have said it better myself. He like spits and he goes, "Human scum." And then
Better double check, just for sure. Our superiors would not be happy with any remaining survivors.
he says, "Yep, checks out. Good day, soldier. Make sure if you see any humans, no one's gonna be too mad if you just poke them." And he like laughs.
A good human is a dead human. Is what I always say, and I will follow my course.
All right, you guys all made it through the first part of the alleyway. You got one more roll to go to see if you cross. Laura expertly just sneaks across like a little sneaky sneak. Tara used her disguise kit.
No, I didn't mean to click. I'm navigating
Oh, I see.
what I have available.
Okay.
I didn't mean to actually send
She's
it
over
to
here like
chat.
putting fake ears on and gold paint on her
I
face.
mean, if I have time to, that's happening. As for right now.
I think a 10 is technically a pass, right? Or is it?
Are you doing it just like death saves?
Yeah, so I think it
Then
is.
a 10's a
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, 10 is a success.
You sneak across, but as you barely cross the threshold, you slip and kick a rock. The soldier looks over at you, but it's just nothing. He just shrugs it off.
Right.
Just looks and waves you guys on. You guys hear the soldier over here start taking a piss. It's like classic soldier stuff, you know. Oh. Alright. Jin makes it, slips across. Felix takes a step forward. Ooh, Tara also makes it across. So you guys all make it across, but Felix tries to run across, and as he does, the soldier turns. He just goes, "Hey, stop!" and just draws his sword and looks at you. And he just goes, "You there?" He's like, "Submit in the name of the Golden Sun." And he steps up to you.
These are my prisoners, soldier. Move along.
He pops his head around the corner and sees that you and you and 3 other people are just standing there.
I will not let Felix
"What?"
just. I will come right here, right behind, right beside Felix. I will put my hand on Felix's shoulders, and I will say, "This is my prisoner, soldier. I am scouting him. Just move along. He's being taken care of."
He looks you up and down, not wearing any sort of colored or marked armor, just sees you holding the general's sigil or the insignia or whatever. He just looks at you and he looks at the prisoners and he's like, "You must be the quietest prisoners in all of existence." And he starts to he clenches his sword real hard. Roll a persuasion check, please, to see if you can convince the soldier.
Right. I am going to use my situation to give me advantage on that. And yeah, let's go. Ooh.
You plead your case and you're like, "No, I'm real. Trust me, I'm real." And he looks at you and he just goes, "Lies," and he draws his sword. And as he does, this guy runs around the corner hearing the screaming. He goes, "What are you doing?" He comes over and he just goes, "No, he is one of us. Somehow he passed both of his persuasion checks, so we're totally into it." And This guy looks over and he says, and puts his sword down. He's just like, the big boy over there would never lie. That's why they call him Trustworthy Jones. And he backs up. He just says, hurry along. He's like, this is what happens
I'm
when
on
you're
my
late
way.
to patrols. And they'll go back.
I'm on my way.
You guys cross successfully.
And then I will gently hit Felix back with my sword and move along, soldier. Soldier. Move along, civilian.
Say that in me could hear, lad. I don't have much left in me. Oh, too close.
Whew. That was close.
Alora's
Sorry
eyes are
about that.
huge. She just kind of looks at you guys and she's like, that was actually good work back there. She's like, the Empire soldiers never were particularly very smart, were they? All right. And then you guys cross the alley. Before I move on to the next area, is there anything you guys would like to do in the alley? Conversations or whatever?
I guess no.
I would like to, maybe not like a huge amount from my disguise kit, but like a hood, a hood, um, throw like something on my face, cover my ears, just to not make me blatantly obviously human.
Okay. You doll yourself up, but in the bad way. All right. Cool. Well, then let's. I flipped them last time. Let me set everything up. You guys are just chilling in the alley. It's a nice alley. You guys are looking out at the streets, witnessing just horrific acts of war. It's a good bonding time. All right. Okie dokie. So as you guys reach the end of the alley, the tension escalates rapidly. The clinking of metal armor echoes louder as Etherean empires sprint closer through the neighboring alleyways. Different soldiers. In the moment of urgency, Alora spots a ladder nearby and urgently whispers, "Up here!" and quickly begins to climb, leading the way to an escape route. You follow suit and soon find yourselves on the rooftops of a downtown buildings. A temporary sanctuary as soldiers rush past below, unaware of your ascent. And you hear those one soldiers be like, "Where'd they go? I thought they were taking prisoners." And they're just like scratching their heads. From your elevated vantage point, the gravity of the situation unfolds before you. The harbor is crowded with an imposing fleet of Etherean ships numbering in the thousands. A staggering sight that underscores the scale of the invasion. The city around you burns, its smoke blotting out parts of the skyline, painting a picture of destruction and despair. Amidst the chaos, a muffled cry catches your attention. Turning towards the source, you see it emanating from a fallen canopy, or see it emanating from beneath a fallen canopy. A faint sound of reassurance follows. "Shh, it's okay. Calm down. They will hear us." Kind of hushed. And driven by instinct, Alora dashes to the canopy, pulls her sword, and with a swift motion, throws it off, revealing two women huddled together underneath. And they look up, terror-stricken, and begin to plead for their lives. And the women... "Oh no, please don't kill us. Please, oh please. Don't do it." And Alora just reaches for her sword and like almost goes to do it instinctively and takes a step forward.
I'll gently take Alora's wrist and compel her to stop.
She turns around and expertly just throws you over her shoulder, over on the ground, and has you like thrown on the ground or strained. And she looks back at the prisoners and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she kind of like lets you go. The women just continue screaming, but as they do, the youngest of the two makes eye contact with Tara. In just a moment of fear, kind of just like you see it just leave her face almost for a moment.
It's all right, but please be quiet. They will hear you.
She looks down at you and she just is in shock. And the mom looks over at the young one and looks back up at you. I got their names right, correct? I couldn't tell.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's them.
Okay. And they look up at you and they go, Asteria? That was your name, right?
Yeah.
Asteria?
Oh my god, you're alive.
Your sister just runs and gives you the biggest hug and just starts sobbing.
Tara's also full sobbing, just like hand over the mouth, trying to muffle it, but like just bawling.
Laura just turns to the rest of you and she goes, "What the fuck is going on here?" This was supposed to be an in and out mission, just me and you. She points to Valen. It's like, we don't have time for all this dead weight, especially this guy over here who's not here.
Look, this is the strangest family reunion we've seen today, right?
She's just equally as confused by the moment as everybody else is. Emerson looks up at you, Tara, and she just goes, "Where have you been?"
That is a very long story for not right now. Let's go. I will explain what I. Oh, baby's crying. Background noise. I'll explain what I can, but let's be safe first.
She looks at you and she goes, "Nowhere is safe. Do you see the city? It's destroyed."
Right, we have to leave.
So she then tells you a story as you're trying to like make her leave. She's just like in shock and just rambling. But tells you a story about how that your guys' family home was invaded during the attack, and they snatched up your father, and they also snatched up the Emerson and Adelaide as well. But they managed to slip through the alley when the soldiers weren't looking to climb on the rooftop, and here they've been hiding for the last like, I don't know, 8-9 hours, something like crazy, something long. And as you look at your sister, she's really happy, but you notice blood like running down both of her ears pretty profusely.
Adelaide, you're injured. Come here.
She kind of
I
looks around like that she didn't hear what you said, but then looks at you and sees you like motioning, and she kind of like plays along.
shit, I'm trying to see if I have anything better. I don't. I'm just gonna like put my hands on the side of her head, and I'm just gonna cure wounds. Eh. Hmm.
What is it? What does it say?
It said like previous casting of that spell was not completed yet, and then give me a bunch of options.
Oh yeah,
But
when
I
you do
hadn't.
that, just click discard previous. I don't know why that.
Yeah,
popped
that's what I
up.
did. It was
Alright.
fine. It just threw me off.
So you put your hands on her head and you cast your spell, and you see like her eyes kind of close, and as like a sign of relief, as she takes a breath, she kind of looks around and is just like, "I think I can hear better now." And the mom just
Okay.
cries and embraces Adelaide, and looks back up at Tara with shock, and she goes, What was that? Where did you learn to do that?"
Oh, right. Part of the long story. Are you injured as well? Do you need help?
And she goes, "No, we just need to find your father."
Oh, we can't do that. Just the few of us. But let's go recoup, and I will help figure this out.
Laura steps forward and says, "It looks like something's going on in the distance." And she kind of points. Um, and as your guys' conversation on the rooftop continues, a sudden blare of a loud horn from a near distance catches your attention. Curious and concerned, you all peer over the edge and spot a massive gathering a few streets ahead in the town square. Looking more closely, you can see a crowd of civilians tightly surrounded by soldiers, and on an elevated balcony above them, several figures are bound and kneeling. A large, imposing figure clad in black armor and a hood steps forward, brandishing a great axe. The crowd falls silent as he approaches, clears his throat, and with a resonant voice that carries all the way to your position declares, "Today, Arcadia falls. With the death of the remaining nobles, we mark a new stewardship over the Isles. May the light of the golden sun shine upon them." He then steps behind one of the bound men, announcing, "Today, the last gray fire will fall." And with a swift motion, his axe descends, severing the man's head. As the head hits the ground, a crown flies off, landing in a pool of blood. Moving methodically from one prisoner to the next, the executioner calls out each name before delivering a fatal blow, leaving the crowd in a shocked silence. When he reaches a final man, he pauses dramatically and announces, "And the last of the Arcadian noble houses will be cleansed today. And the light of the golden sun," everybody cheers. And with those chilling words, he shouts, "Florence Diamante." I think I pronounced that right. And his axe swings down as he executes the final noble. The crowd, shocked, quickly turns to outrage, sparking an immediate uprising. An object is hurled from the crowd at the soldiers, who react by unsheathing their swords and begin to brutally quell the rebellion. The sound of desperate conflict fill the air as the organized gathering devolves into a chaotic brawl, and soldiers ruthlessly cutting down civilians in an effort to regain control. And after that happens, you hear like your mom just start breaking down as if she's about to just start fucking screaming.
Please, you can't be loud. You can't be loud right now. We have to go.
And she looks up at you and she's like, "But your father."
I know we can't save him now.
And Adelaide, she's just peering off in the distance, just at this point, just completely ghost, no emotions.
Yeah, I just like turn her head away from it, which I should have done earlier. And I try to like grab my mom's arm.
All right, you do that and they kind of play along and they tug along. And Laura comes and starts looking around and she goes, "Over there." And in the distance, about, I don't know, 10 feet or so in front of you, lies another flat rooftop basin. And she goes, "We're going to have to jump. There's no other way. Similar to the alleyway, we're going to have to make a total of 2, what was it, agility checks to see if we jump."
Felix will look over to Elora and say, wait, can you make that jump?
Laura expertly jumps over. No problemo." She's like, "Yep."
And if you can throw me, I'd trust you're
She's a
stronger
rogue.
than most, yes?
She's a rogue.
She jumps back. She says,
Felix will hold out a hempen rope and he'll say, "We don't need to be risking breaking our legs or falling into the depths of where the guards will be waiting for us, spear and axe. If you can hold on to this end, one of us can hold on to the other end. We can hold on tightly and just move through. That way no one has to jump and get themselves hurt."
she says, "Yeah, sounds like a plan."
Right, he will offer the rope to Elora.
She takes one end of it as you're kind of holding the other and does her little expert jump across and ties the rope off on the other side.
Right, if one of you could help me secure this other end.
Valen will come and help attempt to secure the line onto something.
Laura kind of pulls at the rope. It's tight, but just with enough slack. She goes, "I think it'll hold." And she's like, "Now when you guys make your agility checks, that rope should at least give you advantage."
Thank you. Because I definitely need that advantage. Can I roll? Can I roll athletics, like to climb instead of jumping?
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, somehow you still make it. Jinshi just climbs across like it's fucking monkey bars. Gets to the other side.
I put my hand on my sister's shoulder and I give her guidance and tell her to go.
All right. She says, "Okay." And she goes and makes her. Where was it? What was it?
Beautiful.
Without a scrap of emotion, just climbs over like she's done this a million times. And her mom just yells out, she's like, "I know she's been sneaking out."
Okay, we can talk about that later. And I put my hand on her arm and another guidance. And okay, please go. Please
Okay.
move.
Okay. She rolls hers. Oh, I didn't roll it with advantage. But I don't need to. She sneaks across the rope as well and makes it to the other side.
I like look back at Valen, make sure he's not, doing something dumb in his
Standing at the
grief.
edge.
Yeah, he's just gonna jump or something. Like,
Oh, it's funny.
At the moment, he's posted up, just like trying to make sure that the line that he tied is staying taut.
are you good, or would you like some additional help?
I honestly, his attention, I don't think is even on Terra right now. He's still like 1,000 yards staring off. You might have to say it a couple times for him to pay attention.
Completely ignore me, Mustad. It's fine. Uh, with no response, I kind of like grab his arm and just like gently like shake it until I have his attention.
What?
It's time to move. Do you need
I know.
help?
Can you offer help?
I just like I was say I slap him, but like it's harder than it needs to be on his shoulder, and give him guidance.
He wants to say something back, but he bites his tongue.
You hear in the distance they say, "Over there, a ladder," coming from the alley you guys were just in. You guys start hearing somebody start climbing the ladder.
Valen, for the love of God, I can't help myself until you get over.
Oh, I thought you were jumping first.
I want guidance too. For fuck's sakes, jump.
All right. First, he'll turn behind him, and he's going to quickly use minor illusion to create like a sphere of fire right at the top of the ladder. So it looks as if there's this giant, well, it's a 5 foot diameter, like flaming sphere that's just looming over the top of the ladder.
You just hear him go, "Oh shit! There's a fire!" As he like peers up, it like gets him, and you hear him climb back down. And they go, "I fucking hate this city." He starts talking. He's like, "I thought they weren't going to use the mortars." And he says, "They always use the mortars."
And with that, hopefully buying a bit more time, he will go ahead and just take a running jump over the gap, and that's with guidance.
You make
And
it.
a D4, so I'm sure that's fine.
You jump to the other side.
He will turn back and like put his foot like on like the I imagine there's like a lip to the rooftop, and like hold his hand out just in case Tara needs to be caught or something.
All right.
And then I immediately mumble under my breath for my guidance and jump.
All right. You jump across, and as your foot touches the railing, it breaks away and you slip, but Valen grabs your hand and pulls you up. It was epic. Alora just looks and she goes, "Wow, everybody made it, even the old one." And she looks over at your mom. She's like, "Good plan, little rat guy." Looks down at Felix.
Finally.
And she's like, looks over and peers over. She comes over to this edge and looks over and she goes, "No." And you see her pull out like a little compass and like orient herself, then runs over to this side. And she goes, "Over there, the docks. I can see them in the distance."
What is your plan? How are we to escape?
And she looks at you and she's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so caught up in everything that's going on. I honestly didn't think I'd make it this far. I kind of planned on dying when I planned on coming to the city in the midst of an invasion to rescue you, who may or may not have been here. So, there's just a lot going on for me. But yeah, essentially the plan is, I know some people. Let's just leave it at that. And they've agreed to help get you out of here. Off on the docks, there's a ship, sailed by a very particular captain, who's just really, really good at sailing around in situations like this."
That's a very awkward description of a sailor, but all right, I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah, he's a real interesting guy. I'm sure you'll see what I mean.
Do we
A lot
have
of
any more?
fun.
Do we have any more rope? We probably should keep moving.
Felix nods and he'll shut it. He still has 40 feet of rope left over.
Oh, good. Okay.
Alright, you'll know the drill. You're Laura.
She jumps over and ties her end up.
Felix will tie the other end up as well, and he will cross with acrobatics.
All right.
17. Alright, we're almost there. Now all of you come over.
I assure my mom and my sister, and just to expedite it, as they each get to go, I give them a guidance, and then wait till they cross, and then give the next guidance, and wait till they cross.
All right. Your mom's like, this time I'll go first. She, very amateur-like, grabs the rope and gets her across. Adelaide also walks up. You kind of have to like direct her a little bit because she's just like almost in a coma.
Ugh.
Oh
Ooh.
no!
Even with guidance, the most she could get is a 9.
Yep.
Hold on.
Unless anybody has any sort of reaction.
Hold on.
So we didn't get any form of a rest in between when we were fighting, well, meeting the Harbinger and being teleported to the future, did we?
Mm.
Technically, no.
Okay, then just making sure. I got nothing.
Oh, silvery barbs. It's a reaction. It will make her re-roll it.
Was give advantage on someone.
She like goes
Oh,
to
she
walk.
does. Yeah.
She goes to walk. Does she get advantage on it? The silvery barbs as well.
What- I don't know what is the actual.
Yeah, it doesn't tell me.
A singular reroll, perhaps. Oh my gosh, can I just read it?
I know.
One reaction which the triggering creature must re-roll the d20 and use the lower roll. Never mind. Nope, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Shit, who can I no one else rolled. I was like, can I disadvantage someone else and give her advantage?
I can do something.
Okay.
Let her fall, and I will try to do something.
She tries to jump across, but as she does, the ruined building breaks away and a chunk falls to the ground. She starts to slip and fall.
Right. Can I jump down through the hole and get like to her level where she is?
That was probably not before she falls.
No, yeah. Of course not.
I mean, as a reaction, can I try to just grab her? Is that possible?
Sure. Roll, I guess, an agility check.
Okay. I won't even guide myself because that feels cheating. I don't know how to turn it off though. Discard. Nope. Undo? Nope. Okay. Well, we're not gonna worry about that right now. And we just won't count the guidance part. I'm so sorry. What am I supposed to roll? Just dexterity? Or
Yeah,
did you say something else?
dexterity or agility, whatever.
Okay.
As she slips, you quickly try to snag her arm or something.
Could just roll nicely. That'd be cool.
All right. She slips and you go and you grab her arm, and as she does, she falls down, but you grab her and you're holding her over the edge and you pull her back up. But as you do, she like cuts herself real bad on some sort of like sharp, I don't know, stone or metal or something, some building material. As you guys get up,
I just help her up. We'll fix that. We'll fix that up in a little bit. We just have to. You've got to try again, and give her guidance.
all right, you give her guidance, and she looks at you, a blank face.
There we go.
And this time runs across and does a leap and a flip and lands perfectly. No harm done.
Tara's gonna have a panic attack.
Nice.
Okay, Jinshi,
Yes.
do you want assistance? Help? Guidance.
No, I can make it, and then I will like just teleport myself.
Fair enough.
let me, let me, like yes, like this.
He just dematerializes and rematerializes on the other side.
Yeah.
That's fair. Valen? Valen?
Yep.
I more gently this time touch your shoulder. Guidance. Let's go.
All right. Valen makes it across.
And off I go. Awesome.
Oh no. Tara.
Okay. Hear me out. If I see her start to fall, can I jump off the roof after her? Did you hear me out?
Like Matrix that shit? Like catch her midair and give her a double jump?
Uh, kind of. I'm going to try to grab her, and I'm going to attempt. Well, I guess mechanically it may not work. Can I attempt, at the very least, for the flavor, to use my teleport ability to uh, bring her to the rooftop edge?
So explain that logic to me one more time.
Or actually, but better yet, then can I jump down after her, like grab her, and then like in mid fall, like try to throw her back so she can try to grab the ledge again, and then I'll teleport back up to the top.
Uh why not? Tara
All right.
runs and jumps, and as she does, the rest of the building just starts collapsing and crumbling, and you see her just almost start to disappear in a cloud of smoke. It is very dramatic.
Like she like kind of stumbles at first and like looks around because like what just happened?
So are you gonna jump, Valen, or what are we doing here?
Oh yeah. I don't know if I need to
She's just fallen.
Yeah, no, Valen will quickly as he can jump after her and hope to grab her in time enough to like in midair just kind of spin and give her a momentum to go back up, at least to get another chance to grab at the ledge or something like that. And then once, yeah, assuming she's able to grab it, hopefully, then he'll go ahead and use his Analt ability to teleport as well as a bonus action to the rooftop.
All right. Tara's falling through the cloud of smoke. Valen just comes sprinting past everybody, no words, no nothing, and just dolphin dives off the edge. And you just see his body disappear and Tara's disappear underneath the collapsing. And all of a sudden you just hear whoosh, like a snap. And instantly both of them are up at the top. They just fall, like they're like 3 or 4 feet above the ground, and they just like snap back in, and they just fall to the ground, land on your guys' stomachs.
Well, that could have gone better.
Could have been much worse though. Thank you.
All right, let's go. Next death-defying jump, please.
Alora's mouth is just open, and she goes, Valen, and she runs over to you, and she's like, double teleporting. That's only something master wizards are able to do. She's like, where did you learn that?
You know I went to college, right?
She's like, damn, they teach you all that in college?
Yeah, don't.
Must have been nice. All right. You guys make it to the other side, and Alora looks around, and she's like, look, not too much farther from here. Just down the ladder, unless there's anything anybody wants to do before we proceed.
Valen would like to look behind at the former rooftops to see if the guards are still pursuing up the ladder or if they have given up that attempt.
That, your fiery whatever it was just an illusion, right?
It was just an illusion with no sensory effects other than sight. So it just looked like there was a flaming orb of 5 foot diameter at the top of the ladder, and it lasted for about a minute.
So it doesn't really look like it. It looks like all the guards kind of running around underneath your feet right now are just concerned about the people on the ground, almost as if the rooftops are just kind of like untouched, unmanaged area right now. But all under your feet, there's people running around. Not on the rooftop,
Okay.
though. Looks like they abandoned that. Are we ready? Laura says as she's like clinging on the ladder. All right. All right. After a tense and precarious journey across the rooftops, evading patrols and navigating the chaos below, your party finally reaches the docks via a small, discreet opening near the shoreline. The docks themselves are modest, almost concealed behind a cluster of dilapidated buildings that line the water's edge. As you approach, a figure emerges at the far end of the dock. He stands on two peg legs and is dressed in the weathered garb of a seasoned sailor. Spotting your group, he calls out with a note of urgency, "Alora, you barely made it. We are pulling anchor as we speak. Did you find what you're looking for?" Without hesitation, Alora responds, "I did. Let's get out of here. The Empire is right on our tail." The captain chuckles, his voice mixing relief with anticipation. "You won't have to tell me twice," as he steps aboard the ship. As a party, I said boards the ship. You guys aren't quite boarded yet. As you guys are about to board the ship, you're joined by a handful of refugees fleeing the turmoil. A woman brushes past your group. Her makeup is streaked with ash and soot, marking the hardship she has faced. She looks up, her eyes wide and scanning, and stops and looks upon Jin Shi. Stopping dead in her tracks on the catwalk to the ship, she faces him directly and staggers. "Jin, is that you?" Her expression is one of disbelief as she has just encountered a ghost from her past.
I Well, okay, give me a minute.
Right.
I will look right at her, recognizing her voice, and I will, Abigail?
And she looks and she goes, "Jin." And she runs to embrace you. She gives you a big
I
old hug, just wraps around you.
Yeah, I embrace her awkwardly. When you don't know what to do, and I was like, "Thanks, you are alive. I was just worried about you with everything going on. Come, let's board the ship right now. We don't have time to waste."
She goes, "What? This what? Where have you been? You stopped writing. How are you here?" And she's just like very confused with everything.
It's a long story, and I even don't have all the answers, but we need to get the hell out of here. We can speak in the boat. It's so good to see you again. So good to see a friendly face amidst all this chaos.
She's just super conflicted and is just like, "Yeah, of course." And she starts moving towards the boat, which isn't a boat. I thought I did an okay job at, that looks like a boat. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
on it.
that's good.
Laura gets
I
on the
will
boat.
spend all time inside uh, inside the boat, embracing Abigail all the time. Like I will never leave. I will never left her and leave her. And that's all.
Captain No Knees. I forgot how ridiculous I made him. He just hobbles over and is just like, "I don't have enough room on my ship for the rest of you. Sorry. Just you." Kind of grabs Valen and starts tugging him.
Well,
What do you mean?
He says, "Whoa, what was that?"
Kieran twisted my microphone. Um, what do you mean you don't have enough room? It's a big ship.
He says, "Do you not see all these survivors that I promised to bring aboard? This was supposed to be just the two of us, and now I have a whole village, essentially."
So we occupied 10 more feet of space. It's fine. Let's go.
He looks at you and he just yells back, "Alora!" And Alora comes up and she's like, "No, they're cool, they're cool." And he just rolls his eyes and he's just like, "Ah." Starts running back to the ship. He says, "Fine, but hurry up."
Thank you, Peggy.
No, say twice.
He just hobbles off.
I picture him like walking like Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. All right. You guys start hearing like scuffling in the distance coming down the alleyway leading to the docks. All the people
Yeah,
start to kind of hustle and hurry, and they come over here and they all board the ship. They're all boarded over here somewhere.
I start ushering my family.
They kind of cross the threshold and get on the ship as well. Like Felix gets on the ship. I'm assuming everybody gets on the ship. Well, everybody boards the ship. And the captain starts reaching down to untie me. He looks back up and he says, "Next stop, Adoria." And he looks and he's just like, "Last call. Anybody want to stay behind in this shithole?" And he starts laughing as he's like wrapping stuff up.
Where's Hal?
Everybody looks and they're just like, "Ah."
Listen, knowing Hal and how his heroics work, he'll find his way over. He always does.
It's alright. He defeated the Dark Lord once before. I'm sure he can do it again.
All right. Is there anything that anybody wants to do before we sail off into the sunset?
Not before, I don't think.
This is going to be the last moment where you guys get to role play. After this is just an exit part. And then that's pretty much the ending of this session. So if there's any sort of role play or anything you guys want to wrap up, I would say now is the time to do it before we start our journey. Getting the fuck out of here.
I want to speak with Abigail.
All right. You and Abigail are just kind of like looking over the railing.
I will approach her, wary, and it's been a long time.
She looks at you and she's like, "It's been 15 years."
Yeah,
She goes, "I wrote you every week, just like we promised."
I'm sorry. A lot of things happened in this meantime.
She looks at you and she
And
says, "I've lived an entire life without you, and now all of a sudden you show back up on what could quite possibly be the worst day of my life." And she tells you the story about how her magic shop is just a pile of dust at this point, that she has nothing. On the way here, she was robbed by a couple people on the street and she's broke.
oh, I am just as confused as you. Last thing I remember, I was inside a temple, inside a jungle, and I woke up right here in the middle of this chaos and this attack. The first thing I think when I knew that I was in Arcadia City was about you.
She just kind of like replies and gasps, and I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Like, I don't know, like that was sweet, you know? She's just like, "Oh."
But what happened? I just can't make sense of all of this.
She looks at you and she's like, "So much has happened." She's like, "No one thought that the Empire was going to attack." She's like, "Nobody could have saw this coming." There
Yeah,
will there will be a long stint of time on the ship to go over a lot of what happened. But yeah, I as a human, I guess, don't really know anything outside of they came in the night. All of a sudden, there was fire flying through the sky, and next thing I knew, soldiers were swarming my magic shop, gathering people up.
I'm sorry about your shop, Abigail. I'm really sorry. Are you alright? Are you hurt?
No, I'm not hurt. I just need time to process some things. And she kind of looks in the distance and looks back at Jin, and she's like, "But I'm glad that you're here with me to sort it all out." And she like embraces you and hugs you, but not like she fully trusts you. Like she's still almost in shock.
Yeah,
Like she doesn't believe this is real,
real.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I need process. I need time to process all of this as well, and well, I need process to. I need time to process that you are here again. Reminds me of the old times.
She like, hushes you down. She's like, "Jin." She like looks at all the other people. She's
Yeah,
like, "We can leave that part of our life behind and just look to the future." Seems like both of us are a little displaced at the moment.
I guess we'll have plenty of time to decide what we will do in the future.
She just kind of nods, and you guys look off in the distance. It's a very beautiful moment. There's a sunset. It's a very like romantic. It's a very tender moment. The captain just kind of looks around and he's just like, "All right," starts pulling the anchor. He goes, "Anything else anybody want to do or discuss or things before we get the hell out of here?"
I approach Valen at one point, thank him for not letting me fall off the rooftop.
I mean, it seems like a fairly obvious thing I would do. Doesn't make any sense to let you die.
Okay. It's probably not as fairly obvious as you may think. You know, being a human and all.
Yes, well, I feel as though I may have more common with you these days than my own kin. So, uh, yeah. I I'm not positive, but I assume one of the men back there that was cold was your father. Well, I'm sorry for your loss and having to bear witness to that firsthand. It must be trying.
Emotions are a strange thing. I'm not sure if it hasn't all hit me just yet, or if I'm compartmentalizing, perhaps. I'm not sure how I feel.
I can understand that. Um, well, if it means anything, I know I didn't know very much of your father when we knew him. What seems like now a decade before, but for his faults, he seemed to be. He wasn't evil. You know, these days, you know, that's saying.
It is. It is. Seems to be quite a brag, if you can say your parents are not evil.
I just mean perhaps try to hold uh, his memory in a fond place as opposed to where it could be.
I shall try. I'm gonna go check on my sister. They have a lot of questions.
Yeah,
For
they're
sure.
just sitting there. Your mom is consoling your sister. They're just kind of sitting beside some barrels on the deck.
Yeah, I head over and sit with them and check. My sister got scraped up, and uh, I'll try to tend to wounds and look mom over as much as she'll, put up with that and just make sure that they're okay. I'll pull up do we still have our rations? Like it's been 10 years, but I feel like it was like a weird wonky uh extra planer kind of thing. Like,
You
is the
reach
food
in,
still good?
you reach in your pocket, and the food is pristine, as if the day you disappeared. Apparently,
Okay, perfect. I pull out rations and start making sure they eat. And
so they all start eating, and Adelaide's kind of laying in your mother's lap, and she's just like brushing her hair and kind of nursing her. It's like her stomach region that got all messed up and scraped up, so she's just like kind of wiping that down with a cloth, like she ripped her sleeve off or something. They're just all sitting there, and Adelaide is just staring into the distance, and you can tell like her eyes are swollen up, like she's crying, but no tears are falling from her face. She's just staring blankly into like space. Your mom just kind of looks up at you and just goes, I just don't understand how any of this makes sense." And she looks up and she's like, "How are you here? We thought you were dead."
Dad didn't tell you that he saw me, I guess, 10 years ago.
Your father said that him and the boy,
Theo?
I forget what the last name is, but that
Hmm.
that family's boy went to go find you and bring you back after you ran away and left us as an embarrassment for all of Arcadia. You were supposed to be the next power couple, or whatever you would call that in the equivalent times. Important couple of families. I don't know. You know what? You get the point I'm trying to get across.
Well, if I had stayed and done that and what was expected, none of us would probably be sitting here right now.
And she just kind of scoffs and she's like, "Not that it matters anyway. Our entire family wealth is up in flames. And now with your father gone," and as she says it, she just kind of chokes up. She's like, "There's nothing left of that, of our empire, our rich gold or gems empire." I think it was gems.
Yeah, gems. Well, uh, would you rather be dead?
Your mom was kind of a bitch before, Tara, wasn't she? Like, you guys weren't on very good terms.
I mean, they were nobles. Tara was okay to just leave. I don't feel like the relationships were great.
Okay. So you see, she starts getting all hype about family business and lineage and all that bullshit that drove you away. And as she's kind of starting to get festered up and talking about that, you notice her take a step back and kind of swallow. And she looks down at Adelaide, and she looks up at you, and she's just like, "At the end of the day, I guess at least I have most of my family." She kind of looks up at you and like puts out her arm as if she wants to give you a hug, but she's not really sure like how.
I like tentatively kind of like step like an awkward side hug. Like I'm not ready to like fully uh move on, but like a pat on the back.
In acknowledgement.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very tender moment. Adelaide just kind of sits up and looks back at Tara and everybody, and she's just like, "Is he really gone?" She starts tearing up.
Oh, well, I just kind of look at my mom. I'm like,
Your mom looks back at Adelaide and goes, "Yes, he's dead as hell." It's only us now. She looks and she's like, "We'll have to find our way." She's like, "I heard Adoria is nice. Your father always talked about it." I'm sure anywhere the Empire isn't is probably nicer than where we are now. So
I'm so sorry. Just to confirm, because I'm not going through my notes super fast. Adoria is where we previously were.
no,
No.
Val Matir was where you just were.
Okay.
Eldora is where Felix is from, right?
Yep, Felix and Hal are both from Adoria.
Right. Okay.
Right. The land of the furries.
Adoria is a place.
They'll love it.
Adoria has been like a notorious place. It's just like a melting pot of all sorts of different people, but it's kind of just like war torn. Every time that there's any sort of decency there, it just breaks out into just terrible war that sweeps the land. So it's not anything that you guys are used to in Valmarta, where everything is really structured. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's like. Some of my friends are from there, though. I'm sure, they'll help you guys get settled in. And I've made coin. I still have, and I double check my pockets. Like I have enough to get us started, and um, we're not completely lost.
She sighs out of relief, and she just goes, "My girls." She goes, "I'm so proud of you." She puts her hand like on your leg or arm or whatever, and is just like, "I never told you that enough, but I'm proud of you." And she's just like all emotional, reminiscing.
Tara's just like baffled. Just this is not. These are not her memories.
Adelaide's kind of looking at her mom too, like, "What the fuck?"
Who's this woman? Where'd she come from?
It's a very beautiful, tender moment. Everybody's having these like conversations in real time, and the sun sets, cresting over. It's been all day escaping.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I just. Oh, go ahead.
First, I will ask Abigail for a quick moment, and I will tell her that this time I will not, just disappear for 15 years. and I will approach Felix. Hey, little man,
Aye?
it seems we are heading to Edoria.
It seems that the reaches of your empire haven't touched it yet.
Look, I'm just as confused as you of everything happened with within the empire right now. Yeah, we were always militaristic and expansionist, but this getting out of hand so fast, and knowing that the Harbinger and all the prophecy we found have something to do with that, it's unnerving. But well, we will have time to discuss that in the future. I just want to know, Eldoria is your home, right?
Aye, it be my home.
And well, anything you can tell us about that, about the place? Do we need
You,
any kind of knowledge, any kind of advantage right now?
if you want to be at your safest, you want to look for the forest of terrain. It's one of the nicest villages I've ever known. The one that was born and near raised in. East March in Panato, Turku, near the colder parts of the glaciers. Those are probably places you want to go if you want to feel a little bit safer. Costa del Sol, it's quite the rich place, a very beautiful island, but a little bit like the fancy Moon Harbor. The one place you want to be careful though is Masaluma. I've heard many things and had to fight terrible things like undead and strange ghosts and mists from beyond. If we're making a stop anywhere, I would imagine we'd be stopping at the docks of Galbed or Nosru. You can head down the roads and head to East March or Terrain within a few days.
Wow, it seems like a unique place, I would say.
It's quite unique. Sure, it's not the most peaceful place when you have nothing but forests and scorching hot weather and glaciers in the south. Some monsters or strange things coming out to fight you, but we understand it's our home and we welcomed in everyone. And I sure know for a fact that when anyone has tried to muscle us before, they could never get it to work. The funny thing about the Dory is that all who are born and come from there, they'll spit things and say things about you, but at the end of the day, they will always come to drink for you and pull a sword and shield for you if the time comes.
I hope that this time won't come, or at least won't come soon to to Edoria. How
I
long
do.
has been since the last time you saw your family?
I have not seen my family ever since I left as a boy and decided to become good at what I was known at. Taking up a sword, swinging it with my two hands at the time, going off on little adventures with folks, having stories of my name talked about everywhere, dueling beasts and man alike, and maybe joining with a friend or two or a party of five. But I was never the one to do that back in the day. I was a bit caught up in my own.
Is your family still alive?
Knowing how old I am, I doubt that they are. Me ma and pa, wherever they be, I only hope that they rest in peacefully.
I I'm sorry about that, Felix, but at
So,
least you see your family again, your home again. If you need anything, just let me know. In the meantime, I will be keeping company to Lady Abigail over there before she strip out my innards for being far away for too long.
As you
See you,
say
little
that, you
man.
hear her go, Jin, Jin, like all nervous, like looking for you.
See you, little man.
aye, best of luck.
And I will join Abigail again because yeah,
All right. You rejoin with Abigail. Felix You all like kind of take this moment to breathe. The captain has at this point pulled up the anchor, and he's like making hand motions or whatever ship people do to whatever crew is on the ship, and they're like pulling sails and doing ship stuff. And he says, "All right, we're out of here." All right. So as the anchor is lifted and everyone is securely aboard, the ship begins to depart from the dock. Just as the vessel starts to pull away, a massive patrol of Etherean soldiers swarms the dock. They halt at the waterline, shouting commands and drawing their bows. Arrows fly through the air, thudding into the hull of the ship with alarming force. Everyone on the deck instinctively ducks, seeking cover from the barrage. The volley eventually ceases, and you cautiously peer over the railing. You see the soldiers on the dock glaring furiously, frustrated by your successful escape. In the newfound quiet that follows, you and the party take a moment to breathe and collect yourselves. This brief respite feels like the first true pause since you awoke amid the chaos. Everyone absorbs the silence, their eyes lingering on the smoldering silhouette of the city shrinking in the distance. Breaking the calm, the captain's voice cuts through the air, warm with determination. "Next stop, Adoria." And he takes the helm, issuing commands to his crew as they busy themselves with the ropes. The ship sails forward, gliding into the open ocean, leaving behind the billowing smoke clouds of the city. Ahead lies Adoria, and with it the next leg of your adventure. Although you feel as if your journey is at its end, you get the ominous feeling that, in fact, your journey has just begun. And with that, everybody, that is our first campaign. All right.
Nice.
So let me do a little outro, and then we'll go over some like deets and stuff. Thank everybody at home for watching. Thank you guys as players for playing. We had a blast this first campaign. We learned a lot, and we're excited to go forward with the next one. That I am announcing now is officially titled Rise of the Golden Sun. So it's going to be really, really exciting. I'm excited for it. But yeah, we will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching.